another 15-minute race in prospect. It's Hobson and Nyland on the front row of the grid. As we wait for the lights to come on, which they do now, the red lights go out, and away we go. And it's a good start by Hobson from pole position, a good start as well from the second row of the grid by number 28, Joe Jessup. He may well go around the outside of Hobson into the lead of the race. No, I don't think he's quite going to do it, but he'll slot into second place. It's the number 92 Hewlett in third. Chris Nyland it is that made quite a poor start in fourth, but he seems to have sorted that out now, and he's sort of level pegging with Hewlett on the outside line through Hollywood and dropping down through the Craners for the first time. Is Nyland going to hold on to that third place? He gets a bit of a twitch on there as he goes over the curve, so I think he's going to have to give best to number 92 Jake Hewlett then as they head through the old hairpin for the first time. Great sight these cars make as they now climb up the hill towards Rogers, and that's Hewlett off. That's Hewlett off on the left-hand side of the circuit. So the driver that started the race in third position, was running in third place, has lost several places with a mistake there at the old hairpin. And Conor Murphy's now off through the gravel now at McLean's as well. He gets back out the other side, but he too loses several places. It's going to be virtually at the back of the field by the time that he gets back up to speed, and he was running up inside the top six. So again, a very hectic first few corners of the race, Marcus.
Very much so. Conor Murphy there's really got a lot of work to do now, hasn't he? But the top three coming down into the chicane for the first time. It's Hobson who goes through first. Then that's in 28 is Jessup from the second row, who's going very, very well. Fantastic start. He made somebody spun. There's a couple of cars up there involved on the exit of the chicane. We can't see what's happened, but that's causing drama.
It's Hewlett.
It's Hewlett again.
So the joint championship leader has had two offs in the space of less than a lap here, and this is a big setback to his championship campaign with his rival Chris Nyland in third place. Just try and see where he is over the line, Jake Hewlett. He's 27th and last at the end of the first lap. Conor Murphy is into the pit lane, having had that off up at McLean's on the opening lap as well. And now Mark Dickin is all kinds of sideways at the old hairpin, and he loses ground. That's Chris Smith going through, and trying to follow him as well is the 104 car of Daniel Chapman. So that's for 4th, 5th and 6th position, effectively better than the rest, because the first three at the end of lap 1 were already 4 seconds clear. Yeah,
quite extraordinary, and Hobson really is pulling away with Jessup on his bumper, but they've taken a great lead early on. Nyland third. He may just be happy to sit there and just play this one out and see how the race goes, but he's a long way clear of 4th place, which was Dickin, but now has all changed, and it's the 84 car, isn't it? It's come through. That's Chris Smith who's coming through ahead of 104, which is Daniel Chapman. And so that's the battle for the in the chase crew. Hobson has fastest lap, 1:22.19, 22.19. The record is 22.83. It's gone. So Hobson's taken that record already.
On the first flying lap, exactly as you said, Marcus.
Yep.
And they're going to try and go 3 wide through Hollywood here for 4th position, and it's Chapman in the 104 car, the blue car, that forces his way through on the inside, so he's taken the place away from Chris Smith, who, by the way, must have had a great first lap to get up to 5th position. I think he was starting 13th or 14th in fact, so had a good first lap. But now losing a position again to Daniel Chapman, and there's now 6 seconds between the first group and the second group of cars. Jake Hewlett got back to 25th, so he made up 2 places on the last lap, but he's got a lot of work to do to try and limit the damage to his championship hopes. Mark Dickin now looking up the inside of Chris Smith into Coppice Corner, couldn't quite make that work, the Hyundai Coupe champion. So 4th, 5th and 6th together. Then there's a gap back to 7th, which is now, I think, Matt Digby.
Yep, he was 8th at the end of the previous lap, up from 21st on the grid. So that's a good effort from him. And here's the 104 Chapman ahead of 84 Smith. So Chapman is going to go up a place as a result of this. And all the way back to Coppice, you can see cars battling in this. Hobson into the 21s. So that's another new record. He's erased his own lap record, 1:21.97.
Yeah, so that's an average of nearly 87 miles an hour around this 1.96 mile Donington Park National Circuit. There is Matt Digby then, number 97, up to 7th place at the end of the third lap. He's lapping in the 124s at the moment, so a couple of seconds or so off Danny Hobson, but he hasn't had the advantage of a clear track. He's had to battle his way up the order so far. Also in well voted number 83, William Pottergill. He's there in 9th place, just behind the 95 car of Samuel Dennis, and it's Joseph McMullen at the moment rounding out the top 10. Mark Dick in there, you could just see he's fallen off the back of that battle for 4th and 5th now. Might be in danger from Matt Digby before too much longer.
Somebody cut the apex there at Coppice, and probably ran wide as a result of it, because you just cannot defeat the laws of physics. You go in tight, you're going to come out wide at those speeds.
9.5 minutes left. Digby there into braking for the Gillard chicane. Hobson's done another fastest lap now.
I've got a bit sideways at number 11. That was Gavin Johnson, the Porsche racer.
No, Joseph McMullen, number 11.
Oh, was it 11?
Yeah, Joseph McMullen in the number 11 car in 10th place. Gavin Johnson's a place further back, I think, in P11, actually, in number 9. Watching these cars streaming through a bit further down the order. It's a very affordable way to go racing in a hot hatch, but in a sort of fairly stock format. These control parts that they have to race, it keeps the racing pretty affordable. Very competitive season this year. Last year Adam Shepherd it was that took the championship in a pretty dominant format, it has to be said, but this year had several different winners and lots of different podium finishes as well.
Shepherd's on the up, isn't he, at the moment? He's having, wherever he goes he's really competitive, as was his father, as was his grandfather, all in cars with the same.
Yeah, racing in TCR these days, but as ever I think with Adam it's budget that's, as for so many racing drivers, it's budget that's the perennial issue, isn't it?
Yeah, Castle Coombe this weekend, I think.
That's right, yeah.
Look at that lap record, a third successive lap record to Danny Hobson. Pushed it into the 21s now, 1:21.72.
Went about 0.8 of a second faster in practice there, so we'll see if he can continue to bring that move down. This is Jake Hewlett. Now he's finding his way back through the field, number 92, so he's just found another place there. Is that James Mansell that he's got ahead? Possibly, I think it could well be. So that will put him up into 17th position, so all of these useful points, but he's now got a bit of a gap before the next car that he will catch, which is about 5.5 seconds up the road, and that's Daniel Bailey. So it's going to take him 2 or 3 laps to catch that, and we've probably only got another 6 laps to go, I would think.
Yeah, I notice also that Ursula Jordan's going well in the 94 car, 13th place, just behind Gavin Johnson, ahead of Tim Necklin and Ross Borman at the moment.
Yeah, as we're watching the number 10 car, no, the number 18 car come through. That is the Matthew Duffel car. He's in 24th position. Did a personal best lap on his previous lap, so getting quicker all the time as the race goes on. Up ahead, that's 1:16. Matthew Morgan, he's chasing after number 7, Jack Thomas. Now normally we see Jack Thomas a little bit further up the order than we have done here. So although he didn't do the first 2 meetings of the season, but he was reasonably competitive at Pembrey last time out.
New lap record, new fastest lap then to Joe Jessup, the chaser. He's 3/4 of a second behind Danny Hobson, the race leader. Joe Jessup in the 28 car, 1:21.56.
Yeah, gap down to 0.8 of a second. There's Chris Nyland in the number 130 car. Joint championship leader coming into this weekend, as we've been saying. He's been racing since 2011. His first race was at Anglesey in the Ford XR Challenge. He's also raced the BMW M3 Cup, Club Enduro. He's done the Citroen C1 Challenge as well. And he gets backing from CN Science, TEGIWA and Motion Motorsport, who prepare his car. Watching the 3 come down now, and it is Hobson that is leading, Jessup in second, and they have dropped Nyland really. He's in 3rd place. There's a back marker, I think, between 2nd and 3rd at the moment as Hobson comes across the line. The gap was 0.78 seconds on the previous lap. We'll get an update on that in a moment. It's 0.68 8 now, I think. Yep, 0.68 seconds. So it's come down another tenth. No improvement on the lap record, though, that time from either of these two leaders. But Jessup certainly has Hobson in his sights.
That's right. Jessup ran over the curbs there on the exit of Redgate Lodge Corner, down through the Craners now, using plenty of curb on the left-hand element of it. And then you get the car balanced. Little wisp of tyre smoke from the leader there as you just the unloaded wheel just locked with the tyre, puffed. Through they come up into that terrific corner at McLean's. It's much quicker than it looks, and of course you build speed through that for the run up to Coppice Corner, which they're approaching now. Up that brow, you can see where it's blind. You dive in and trust that you've got enough grip to get through on the right line. Here they come, lights ablaze on the lead car, that of Danny Hobson. There's no one ahead to warn right now, but all the while omnipresent in his mirrors, Joe Jessup.
Yeah, and effectively teammates, because it's a DH Motorsport car as well. DH Racing, I should say, for number 28 as well. That's Joe Jessup. Jessup third in the championship despite 3 wins. He had, I think it was some kind of electrical issue at Alton Park, which caused him to non-finish there. So that set him back slightly.
Hobson's got the record back.
He has indeed, but it took a hundredth off of Jessup's time, 121.55. But Jessup still, I think, it could be a championship contender here. He's got those 3 wins in the belt, and he's taking some more points away from Chris Nyland and Jake Hewlett in this race as things stand. Hewlett, by the way, is still 17th. He is now pretty much with Daniel Bailey, though, and he's probably got 3 more laps left to go in this race. So that's the 777 car. That's Mark Dickin.
He's recovered to 5th place.
He has. Chris Smith behind him now, who's looking a bit out of shape there as he went through the old hairpin in the number 84 car. So that was the fight for 4th, 5th and 6th, but that's become rather elongated now.
And Digby in the green and black just a little bit too far behind them to impose, I suspect, in the remaining minutes of this race.
Probably right there, Marcus, because he is, what was he, about 1.5 seconds behind at the start of the lap. Not really making much impression on the cars ahead of him, but who knows, so we could have a change in the closing stages. That's 95 going through. That's Samuel Dennis. I think that was him doing some lappery actually, rather than anything else. Hobson's taken another 400ths off the lap record now, 121.51. Still 7/10 outside what he was doing in practice this morning. So across the line, I suspect they've now probably got 2 laps of the race left to go, because 2 minutes 10 on the clock as we speak.
Looked like Digby actually had made a bit of ground up through the chicane as they went down towards Redgate, but here's this group that's Digby did his own personal best lap that time through. 94 in the middle of that is Ursula Johnson in the blue car, and outside Ursula there's lots of bouncing over the curbs, and that is 9 Gavin Johnson, isn't it, who she's overtaken.
Yeah, so Johnson's gone steadily backwards during the course of this race. And Jordan now makes a bit of a mistake, bumping and boring over the grass there at the old hairpin, but I don't think too much time was lost in the number 94 car. And it's good to have Ursula out there. There's the number 11 car of Joseph McMullen, currently running in 10th position. Ursula, by the way, is 28 years of age, from Leamington Spa, communications and marketing manager. Started racing 2 years ago in the Hyundai Coupe Cup, but did start in karts, doing junior TKM initially. Danny Hobson's taken 3/10 off his lap record now, all of a sudden, 121.20, possibly because the pressure from Joe Jessup has been somewhat alleviated now. He's gone on to his, I think, probably final lap of the race. He's down there at the old hairpin with 50 seconds left on the clock. The right rear goes light as he goes under braking for the old hairpin. Joe Jessup is still chasing after him in 2nd place, and Chris Nyland in 3rd. He has dropped back quite considerably now. He's about 7.5 seconds behind the leader, but 8 seconds clear of the 4th place car of Daniel Chapman, so it's not actually been hugely close at the front here, but there have been some very intense battles down the order.
And Ursula Jordan now into the top 10 because she's got past Joseph McMullen, so 94 now 10th. Adam McMullen 11th. Here's our leader, and with 10 seconds left on the clock, coming down to the chicane. This looks like it's going to be the last time through. And here he goes then, Danny Hobson with the lap record under his belt. Coming through, flashes the lights in acknowledgement of the checkered flag, weaves across towards the flag man. Not quite sure why they do that. But he's come through ahead of Jessup by 2.23. 1-2 then for the DH racing cars.
Yeah, absolutely right. Chris Nyland comes home in third place. He did his personal best lap on the final lap, a 121.78, but it was all a little bit too late. Fourth goes the way of number 104, Daniel Chapman, but only just from treble 7, Mark Dickin. And Matt Digby did get within striking distance of Chris Smith in the end, but too little too late. Now, somewhere in this gaggle coming through is Jake Hewlett. I think you can just about see his black car in the middle there. He's not going to make any more places upon the run to the line. He was 14th at the start of the lap, and he's going to be finishing in 14th position as well, so he didn't make up any more places on the last lap. Two drivers are noticed have got 5-second penalties for exceeding track limits. James Mansell, who was 17th on the road, and William Puttergill, who was up there towards the front in the early stages, somehow managed to end up back down in 24th and get a 5-second penalty.
Puttergill ran 9th in the early part of the race, having qualified 8th.
So something obviously went awry for him. A moment out of the view of our cameras. So cars heading on their slowing down lap. Let's see if we can have a look at the results then from the first of 2 races today for the TEGIWA Type R Trophy. There we go. Number 25, Danny Hobson, it was that took the victory by 2.23 seconds from 28, Joe Jessup. In third position, it was 1:30, Chris Nyland, so he will be taking a lead in the championship now, with Jake Hewlett finishing further back. Fourth to number 104, Daniel Chapman. Fifth to the treble 7 car of Mark Dickin. In sixth place was 84, Chris Smith. Matt Digby was 7th in 97. 8th, 13, Travis Patterson. 9th, number 95, Samuel Dennis, in a good drive from Ursula Jordan to get up into the top 10 in the number 94 car. She did so at the expense of Joseph McMillan, number 11, who took 11th. Gavin Johnson was 12th in number 9. Ross Borman, 13th. Jake Hewlett from 27th to 14th in the number 92 car, an important comeback as he tried to limit the damage to his joint championship lead. 15th went the way of number 96, Tim Necklin, then Daniel Bailey, James Mansell with a 5-second penalty, Matthew Morgan, Adam Parsonage and Jamie Flynn rounding out the top 20. And outside the top 20, it was Matthew Duffel, Craig Atkinson, Matthew Gilby, William Puttergill, Alan Gill and Warwick Ellis, with 2 non-finishers, Jack Thomas and Connor Murphy. Hopefully they'll be back out for the second race of the day, which is scheduled for around about 4:25 this afternoon. Let's head down to the pit lane once again. Josh Barrett's there.
Yeah, thanks Ian. We're down here in the pit lane after the first of 2 to give our Type R Trophy race. It's Danny Hobson who was the race winner. He just jumped out of his car. Well done, Danny. I'll give you a winner's garland. That was a nice way to return to Honda Civic racing, wasn't it?
Yeah, considering the car, we started building it a few weeks ago, and we thought we'd see. I've mainly done it to try and help my drivers, do a bit of driver coaching from on the track, but yeah, what's that? Pole and race win. Very happy.
You had Joe quite close to you, but you were setting lots of new lap records, which was fantastic.
Yeah, I could see he was on me, and that's what I want, me and him close race. I want to bring all my lads on, so I'm only out for this weekend. Been out for a couple of years now, so.
Tell us what it's like running the team and driving this weekend.
Very hard, since quali as well. We've had a lot of drivers come up to us, can you help set this up, can you help do this, but we are trying to help this championship quite a bit, and the car is for sale.
Okay, well, it's quite a good way to advertise it. Well done. So congratulations to Danny Hobson, our race winner. Joe Jessup second. Joe, the best of the championship contenders, so that's good.
Yeah, no, good finish. Tried to stay with Danny at the beginning, kind of a few laps I could stick with him, and then it started to go off, so he gapped me a little bit, but really pleased with the finish.
And a good start there that got you into second place.
Another good start. I seem to keep getting these good starts, and gets me a couple of spots at the beginning, and then you can just kind of get your head down and finish the race. So no, really pleased with the result.
Obviously later on to be a bit of a different race with the reverse grid.
Yeah, always a bit more tricky. Need another good start, make some spaces at the beginning again, and then just see where we get to and get as many points as we can.
Obviously Chris was behind you, but Jake was a long way back after a couple of offs, so that's going to mix the championship up a bit more.
It will. It's really tight at the top. I think there's people like Matt Digby as well, kind of coming up as well, so it's going to be a real close finish to the season, I think.
Well done on second place, and in third position over here was Chris Nyland. Chris, another podium, so you're racking up all these points, which is good for you.
Oh, it's good, yeah. Obviously, that was mega having a podium. Obviously, I started second, so I suppose I'm slightly disappointed. I really want to win, but these two who were ahead of me were just, the pace was too much for me, unfortunately. So, but just sort of points. Sat back and just looked after the car, really, on that one.
And like we're saying to Joe, the next race is going to be a bit more difficult, isn't it, with the reverse grid?
I like the reverse grids actually, because it just mixes it up a little bit. But I suppose I'm ahead of them now, so I can never work it out. But I don't even know which side of the grid I'm on. But do you know what? It's good. I'm sure there'll be some close racing out there, so everybody's got some spectacle to watch out there.
There was lots of sideways action, perhaps a bit further down. Was the track a little bit slippery, or was people just pushing it too hard?
Well, no, I'm not too sure. The pace was slower in that session than it was in qualifying, if it was for us. It did feel like, I don't know if there's been oil drops or somewhere. When we had a bit of turning, it was a bit lively, shall we say. But no, it was still grippy. I think if it cools down a little bit this afternoon, maybe it'll be a bit quicker.
Yeah. Are you enjoying doing this, going for a championship title?
Yeah, of course I am. It's a good position to be in. A shame about Jake. I don't know what happened to Jake. I know he went off to my left, but hopefully he can get it. I don't know where he's starting on the reverse grid, but hopefully we can have a bit of a do. And obviously Joe's in the championship as well, so it's all to play for, isn't it?
Yeah, we had a couple of horses. I think got to something like 11th or 12th, so be just behind you, I guess, on the grid.
Yeah, he probably is actually. Yeah, exactly. He'll be thereabouts, which is a shame because I was saying to him before, we really want a really good race and a good tussle together, really. So we'll just have to wait for race 2.
Best of luck with that. So congratulations to our top 3. As I think Ian was saying, we head into lunch here now at Donington Park, but it won't be too much longer before we have a full afternoon of racing. So stay with us either here at Donington Park at the circuit or on Alpha Live.